Okay, we're going to mod this Spirit Halloween radio. So open up the case. Set that aside, and we also don't need the case on it. I'll put it here. And if you take a look, when they come out, they are scratched up. So don't expect a pristine radio. A few odd marks here. And what we're going to do is to open this thing up. Let's see, get it in the right light. There's 7 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that need to be removed. And we'll see if they're all in here. On this one, yes, I've certainly seen some radios where they are walkie talkies that they have not gotten all the screws put in, or they've fallen out somewhere else. So just take a small Phillips screwdriver and remove all 7 of those screws. I like leaving the battery protector in. That way we don't have to worry about shorting out the battery while we're doing this install. So if you've already removed that, it might be best to open up the battery compartment and remove the batteries. Just makes things easier. So we'll see how many of these screws fall out. This last one's being a little bit of a pain. Okay. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. So all of them came out fine. I'll just set those right there. And then what I'd like to do is make sure the switch is working. Power switch slides. So that's good. Now try to leave the 2 silver pieces together and just open up and lift off the top. It exposes the inside here. And so we'll see how far we can zoom in. What happens is this switch, this one's great. Usually these are very wobbly, and this one's looking pretty good. What happens is I like to put a little glue on there, so I'll do it anyway. Since we're here, since it's open up, I'll put a glue dab out. Just a little bit of hot glue there across the wires. The reason I do it across the wires is it's okay to get up right here, but there's actually an opening on that side and an opening on this side of the switch, and also this whole thing across the top. If you get any glue on there, it can interfere with that switch being able to be moved. So we really don't want that to happen. So just putting a little dab down here holds that switch a little bit better, because I've had some of these just fall inside when you're operating them. Okay, so we have that. The next step, so while that glue's drying, we have the circuit board here, and we're going to remove all of the wires from the circuit board. And the easiest way to do that is to get your soldering iron. And what I do is I just tin the end of the soldering iron, put glove there, and then just touch it to each one of these wires. And they'll just come right off. And the last one. Okay, so next step is I like to keep all these leads straight. Kind of bend them straight. All looking pretty good. This one did not look too good. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of bent, so I will grab my pliers. Just squeeze the wire so it forms a point rather than just a bunch of flailing strands of wire there. And the other thing I like to do is, again, just re-tin these wires so that they'll be easier to deal with. Oh, you're still on screen. Okay, so now we got all the wires ready. Hot glue. It's doing much better here. So, next step, I guess we'll go a little bit wider. Take the sound module, and on this one I've installed 4 jumpers pins on there so I can easily change things. And it's set for the middle 2, which is a test mode, which doesn't matter until we power on. But I like to start, first thing, kind of just doing the speaker wires because they're way over here and it's pretty easy to get those in before we have to tangle with doing everything at the same time. So we have the 2 blue wires. Doesn't matter which one goes with which, it's just the 2 wires off of this speaker. And so feed them down through into the holes, and then on the other side, bend them around. Wait, see if I can show you that better. Feed those back up through. So there, I just want to make sure just a little bit pokes through. Feed that back. Same thing on this one. So when we're done, you should have 2 little loops on that side. And if you look on the top side, kind of dress the wires over the pads. See how far I can go in on this one. You can see that. And then here's on the other side. Okay. So then I just want to solder those down. Yeah, that I think is still in frame enough. There we go. Now you can see we got the 2 soldered in there. Strain relieved so they can move around and it should not break the wire. The next 2 are a little more challenging. So, I guess the last one's the most fun. So now, the red wire from the switch. See, we have come up here, this is the wire from the switch. That one goes in the very top. Up top of these 2. So we have red marked for battery. Same thing as before. Dressing of the wire. And then the other one labeled orange, of course. I had one that was green. Most of them have been orange, but this one is yellow. That comes from this side of the battery. That one goes on the bottom of the 2. Now things start getting a little tighter. Okay, you see that? Just set this here. Okay, that's very visible. And I will just tack these 2 wires down. And I just heat up the wire and the pad. Make sure this one's down near that. Okay. So now those wires are done. And we still have a decent ways to move this thing around. But the tougher ones are these 2, so just kind of bring them back up, see which one's longer. Oh, there we go. Bring up the two from, so we have the switch here. It's got two wires coming up. Those two go into this position. My pointer. One switch goes here, the other wire goes here. Again, it doesn't matter which one's which, so I just usually go, okay, this one looks a little longer, so I will do it first. Put it in there. See, can you see that? It's not too bad. I'll tack that one down. And then last but not least, we take this one wire and it's got to go into this position here. Okay, you can see that, and we will tack that one down. Okay, so last step is just some Velcro to have this thing held down, but at this point we can just try it. So without attaching it, I guess I can zoom out. So now, what we've got, there's the old board, everything's wired in, fine, so should be able to just pull the battery.
1, 3, test, 2, 3, 2.
So there's the power off, power
test,
on.
1, 3, test, 2, 3, 2.
Test mode is what came up when both these were jumpers on, so I'll just make sure that all the jumpers work. So
1,
there's
1, 1, 2. 2.
Yeah, I guess so you can see what I'm doing a little better.
One, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4.
And check to make sure the switch is working.
5, 5, 5.
Okay, so everything looks good. So we'll power this off. Take the Velcro, put that on the back here. Sorry, Slimer, gotta cover you up. So push that on really well. It's easier for me just to set this on aligned and then position it and press down. Okay. There you go. So now I'll put the jumpers back for random. And I just like saving this jumper, so I set it over here. And we should be able to get any sound. We won't know which one it's going to be.
Light is green, crap is clean.
Okay, turn that off. When you go to put this back together, main thing is not to trap any of the wires between the edges here. So carefully put it in like this. Set it back. Look around this whole side. A little bit of the hot glue hairs. Check here, make sure there's nothing there. Switch. It still works pretty well. Okay, so we will now just put the 7 screws back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. So there's 5, 6, and 7. And these are fairly easy to strip, so a light touch when you're putting them back in. So we're going to tighten, yeah, there we go. So just make sure that one's pretty tight. It's not too bad. And there you go. So just turn the radio on and
Ray, we'd like to shoot the monster. Could you move, please?
there you have it. You can also put on the label, but hey, I guess I don't need to show you that. Have fun converting your radio.